Welcome to a ParentingSimply.com production.
I grew up with three sisters, so sports to us was sprinting to the mall for the latest sale, racing out of the kitchen before my mother could catch us for dishwashing duties, and slam dunk, who was going to get the best date. So I was a little surprised when I suggested a Sunday in September for our wedding, and my husband said, "No way, it's football season." I don't think I truly believed him. We finally decided on August, which again I had to negotiate for because of Indian season. He checked the schedule and we were cleared. At first, I tried to be a good wife by being a devoted fan. I watched the games with my husband, rooted for our guys out on the field, and wore the team colors on Cleveland Spirit Day. I sat shivering at Jacobs Field at the World Series game in '97. I got all psyched up for the win, only to have them lose again and again. Is this what being a sports fan was all about? I didn't have the stomach for it. I was never one for roller coasters. It was just too much aggravation. I just didn't have what it takes to be a Cleveland fan. Then we started having kids. I had given up and my husband had not. My husband and our kids spent Sundays watching the Browns game. There was lots of hooting and hollering from the family room. The evenings in spring, summer, and sometimes fall were spent watching the Indians. I am not sure when they had time to watch the Cavs, but they did. Then LeBron came to Cleveland, and then LeBron left. I thought my family's fascination with sports would be over. I didn't think they would be able to sustain the loss. I was wrong. They were sad, but it just seemed to be a blip on their radar screen. They just kept on watching. This past year, when the Browns started their yearly downward spiral, I started to think whether or not this was fair to my kids. How could I have let them become Cleveland sports fans? It didn't seem right to pass this legacy to innocent children. I didn't want them to be destined to a life of disappointment. Then I started to read about modern kids, about how they're lacking in resilience. They have trouble weathering the storms of life, coping with everyday challenges. They buckle under the slightest pressure. They can't bounce back from disappointment and adversity. They don't know the meaning of loyalty. I started viewing being a Cleveland fan differently. Hey, my kids were lucky. Being a fan of a losing team builds resilience. Being a fan of 3 losing teams really builds resilience. My kids are getting lots and lots of lessons in being resilient. Cleveland's kids learn to manage disappointment and get right back up again. They learn that life goes on. They learn that being loyal doesn't always bring immediate rewards, but it does build integrity. I now look at my husband with awe. After 17 years of marriage, I know that the same loyalty and resiliency he brings to being a Cleveland sports fan, he has used to keep our family strong and happy. I know his parents taught him that, but I think it was the Browns, the Indians, and the Cavs that helped drive that lesson home.